Hello, everybody. This is Gynarchy Awakening. This has been a long time coming, and I'm finally happy it's here. I have been absent for about 2 to 3 months from the channel, and I do have an announcement. Because of the weight, because of the gravity of this announcement, along with the other information in the video, I would like to ask, or like to please ask, that any gynarchist who is watching this video and who obtains the other information that I provide later in the video, if you could please send this to any gynarchist on any platform, any website, I'd really appreciate it. That means Reddit, X, whatever. What is it, Blue Sky? Yeah, any of those, and of course to Viola Voltairine herself. I would really appreciate that, and I'm gonna go get the books, and then I'm gonna continue the video in a moment. My apologies for the delay. So, a while back, I started doing something. Actually, it was around last year, around November. I started to consistently suggest to libraries via email. I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is the count that I did, the record I was hoping I could submit to Guinness, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I read through their guidelines, and of what I can remember, I believe that I didn't do it the way they wanted me to, and therefore I would be disqualified, and I would also lose $5 because this is a new world record that I set. And I happen to know that this is a record because Gynarchy is a subject that is really niche. It's known among certain community members, but it really isn't known much anywhere else. You sort of have to be part of specific groups in order to be aware of that information, like the authors, the ideas, the people involved. And so it comes as no surprise that when I created a Guinness World Records account, that I did not find anything on Gynarchy, much less people suggesting emails to it's not suggesting emails, but just suggesting that libraries buy a couple of books. So that was unfortunate. There were also certain legal concerns that I had regarding sending them specific information. They said, and I believe this is what they said, I'm paraphrasing here. They didn't say this exactly, but what I interpreted it as was that they can do whatever they want with that information. And I have a lot of data. So that is not something that I felt comfortable sharing with them. I don't want anybody's personal emails being sent to anybody, which is why last time when I posted about this, I made sure to protect not only the identities of the individuals, but any information that could help somebody, potentially a harasser, an abuser, locate those individuals and target them for abuse or harassment. So that pathway, unfortunately, is a dead end. So I apologize for that. I never intended for this to become a world record. That was not why I did all of this to start with, and I'll explain more in detail further in the video. The good news is, and that's the title of the video, is I've suggested Viola Voltairine's Gynarchy books to nations from around the world. Now, what that means is that I've gone through every single nation. I've gone through the vast majority of their cities that I could find on lists, and I looked for libraries that had emails. So these two books right here, have been suggested to libraries from around the world. And after this video is released, After this video is released, I intend also to make public the 5 videos of the emails documenting this achievement. Now I have blurred all the content. In fact, I overlapped blurs because I don't want anybody having access to this information at all. I don't want to have any. Sorry, my apologies. I have a family member talking in the background next to my room, and it's distracting me. I wasn't expecting that, but that's life. Things happen. Anywho, what I was able to do is I was able to count up the amount of emails that I sent out specifically to these libraries from around the planet, as well as other institutions. Now, there was some human error involved. There's also possibly counting errors, so this may not actually be the final number. There's also, I think there were errors with Gmail as well. So what I counted was what I was able to capture in these videos. Now, obviously, if an email wasn't sent, like if it has the M and it's like a big yellow thing, or it says postmaster, it hasn't been sent out, so it doesn't count. And also, the emails that I wrote to myself, because I used Gmail as a way to write my posts for the groups on Reddit, so those don't count either. And there were also a few other isolated cases that didn't count because they were more question-like or they didn't suggest both books. So when I got done with the count, I realized that I had something on my hands that not only that I wanted to share with everybody, but that I think I'm happy about this, but I'm also feeling like I need to do more. The final count, assuming no human error, is 20,105 emails. Yes, you heard that right. The final count, the amount of emails I sent suggesting that libraries, in fact, that's the record itself. The record is most emails suggesting libraries purchase 2 Gynarchy books ever sent, quote unquote. That is the record. And the record, assuming no human error, is 20,105 emails sent out. So when this video is done, there will be 5 videos documenting this. I am hoping that I can put them into a playlist, and if I can maybe link that playlist. But if I cannot link it, please look for it on my channel, and also please share it with as many Gynarchists as you can. Thank you. Now, I would like to get into my thank yous to the people who have been with me every step of the way, and who have supported me. The very first is a special person who literally shared this journey with me. Somebody I personally shared this journey with, who has been supportive, who has been an important part of this activism process, and also somebody that I believe. I don't think I can fully adequately express and explain with my language just what it meant to have somebody who was there, who was appreciative of it, supportive of it, and who never wavered. And part of why that is so important to me is because you get these people in the community, especially some of the guys who they post and then like a few days later they do a Casper. You never see them again. They what is it, a Houdini or something? I don't know the terminology. I just say they do a disappearing act. And so having somebody around that you know is going to stay around is something that matters a lot to me. So I would like to thank that very special person for being there, because that support helped me get through not only this, but many, many other things as well that I can't even begin to articulate. The next person I would like to thank is Viola Voltairine herself. If you did not write these books, I would have never been able to do this. The entire reason why I have done my activism work is in part, well, not the entire reason, I apologize. I need to work on my language. This is off the cuff. She is the primary reason why I've been able to do this. If the books did not exist, if she did not author them, I would probably be doing something else. I don't know exactly what, but it has been my privilege to suggest these books, and it's also been something that has brought a lot of meaning to my life. So thank you to her. I would like to thank my family members for also doing what they can to support me through this time. I thank them as well. And also, I'd like to finish off by thanking the members of the Gynarchy community who have continued to this day to be supportive of my efforts, who who still believe in me and what I'm doing, and of course to all the others who have been kind and respectful. Thank you as well. Now, I would like to shift over from that to why I did this. There are so many reasons why I engaged in this activism work that I don't think I can fully adequately explain it to you. I have never been the most articulate person in the world. I will just try to summarize a few reasons, and then at the end of the video, I'll finish things. I'll wrap it up. The first primary reason why I felt like, sorry, the first reason that comes to mind, and it's the most one that was really, it was from the beginning. It was like every day that it wasn't done felt like a day that I failed somebody. And what do I mean by that? Every American citizen who has studied history, even in the most minor capacity, even just a minor amount, has seen the pictures from World War II of not only the pile of dead bodies of not only Jewish people, but people of other ethnic and different backgrounds, sexual orientation, so on. Their bodies were stacked like cordwood. They looked like they'd been starved to death. They were closer to being skeletons than they were to being human beings that look like you and me, that are well fed and taken care of. And those images haunted me and still haunt me, because humanity continues to engage in behaviors, especially the men. There are obviously some people who are complicit on both sides. I'm not saying there's not. We've had plenty of those people in the community roll on by lately to remind us that, yes, some individuals, unfortunately, who happen to be women also happen to have their role in it, but not as much as the men. And what these men did, especially the Nazi men, is they butchered millions. They tried to wipe out the Russian population through starvation methods. They were planning to kill the Jewish people. I mean, it was like all of them. It was horrifying to see this stuff. It's beyond the pale. But one other thing that stuck in my mind through this, because that's the first callback image, was, and it made me think about my people and my community and how the current administration, more of a regime really, that regime and what it does, like how it engages in book banning activities, how it's using dehumanizing language against its opposition, it made me think about the safety of my community, but also not only the legacy, but the memory, the very memory of the community itself. How is the community going to be remembered? Because there's a lot of Gynarchist activity in the United States compared with the rest of the world. I know because I've been immersed in this community long enough. I've seen how many different people are there, and a lot of Gynarchists happen to be either American citizens or Canadian citizens, and it's not lost on me that when it comes to the proliferation of these ideas, it does seem to be, although not entirely, an American enterprise. And that also is cause for concern. What do I mean by that? Well, if you put most of your eggs in one basket, or a lot of your eggs in one basket, what can somebody do? They can come along and use their boot to crush all the eggs in your basket. Um, I also remember hearing about book burnings in Nazi Germany. Yeah, where they would destroy the work of authors who had spent time and energy doing research, discussing subjects in detail. And it made me think, well, what happens if the people in power, I don't know if they're going to accomplish all their objectives, but what happens if they are able to implement most of Project 2025? What if they're able to go further? Like right now, not only have they stripped away many of the rights of women, but now they're attacking them financially. There was a recent story about in the department. I think it was the Department of Education recently came out and in what's not only a suicidal economic move, but a move to attack women and minorities. But I think primarily women, because this is really what it's about. It's about taking away their financial power and trying to force them to exchange their body for shelter and food. That's really what they're trying to do. And so um, they came out and they decided to declare certain degrees like nursing degrees as they're no longer going to recognize them as like professional degrees, something to that effect. And when I think back to the idea of what Nazi Germany was, what the culmination of their work is, it's not only the silencing of their opposition, it's the murder of their opposition. It's not only that my people could get killed, but that all of their ideas, their lexicon, their very memory could either be erased or mostly wiped out. And that was a powerful driving force behind doing this. Because I saw the book burnings, I saw the pictures as a young man in school. I know what people are capable of, especially the men are capable of when people give them power, when we're not critical enough of their behavior, when we try to give them a pass. You can't. You can't give them a pass because if you do, they pull this bullshit and then so much worse. As far as I'm concerned, the Nazi thing should have been should have been a wake up call for pretty much everyone in the world to realize men should not be running the government. They shouldn't be in power. But unfortunately, we don't live yet in a world that makes fucking sense. We are still repeating history to this very day. There are a lot of people on Twitter and X that have gone so far as to point out just exactly how we're repeating that history and how the current administration is actually trying to repeat history. Because really what I think is going on here, just to do a bit of a diversion here, is just for a moment, is you see corporations, you see wealthy people, they know the birth rates are declining. And so I think that many of the people who are wealthy and in power are embracing fascism because they know that they can't make men appealing to women on the whole. That men, because of social media, men have exposed their shitty behavior, their disreputable activities, and especially their criminal activities. Just recently, two very young white men, were planning to invade an island in Haiti, kill the men, and then enslave the women and the children. This is the kind of fucking behavior that they're up to. This is the kind of shit there's not behavior. This is the stuff they're planning. And what was shocking was when I went to X and I was reading the comments, there are other guys saying, I don't see anything wrong with it. They think it's funny. I know they're not joking, but they'll try to lie and say it's a joke if somebody calls them on it. They're not joking. They're supportive of men doing this shit because there's a huge chunk of men in the United States that want to do the same damn thing. And what you have is, I think you have an intersection, sort of like a team up happening where you have these men who can't maintain relationships, can't get laid, can't be decent human beings, and women remember things. They take in information like any other human being does. And when you are being an awful piece of shit online because you know that somebody's not going to take a plane and fly over to your country and beat the fuck out of you for what you said, when you know that there's less consequences for what you say online than what you do offline, that encourages the bad behavior. And so what social media has done is it's given women a window into the door a window into the minds of men, into who their psychology, into what they really are and what they want. And what they've decided is they don't want to deal with them. They think they're fucking disgusting, they're reprehensible, and they're tired of their bullshit. And so you have a group of men, and it's a growing group of men who they feel like they're entitled to women and girls. They don't want them having rights because they want to fuck them whenever they want. That's what they're doing. That's what's going on here. They want to fuck people, and they don't want to have to jump through hurdles to do it. They don't want to have to work harder to be more appealing to people. Some of them don't even want to fake their personalities. Other men do, but they don't. And so instead, they're trying to work with billionaires in power who see, oh no, our workforce is going away. Birth rates, no, no, no. Because they see the loss of money, the loss of prestige. They see their society, their civilization as they understand it collapsing. And from their point of view, can't have that. And so if they can't get men to be more appealing to women, they'll try to work with these other men to take women's rights away. So that's really what's going on. We're seeing an intersection of people who have common interests, who are also assholes, who are trying to work together, not very effectively, I might add, because eventually there is going to be backlash, and there is already backlash taking place, and it's only going to get worse. Sorry for the diatribe. The point is, now the books are around the world. People from here to China have bought the books. I thought that, it'd be way harder because they're foreign countries, they don't speak English, but that didn't stop China from buying didn't stop two libraries from buying our books. That didn't stop anybody who was interested from wanting them. So that is the primary reason. I'm running out of time, so I need to hurry this up. I'm sorry. The second reason why is because I feel like the information ecosystem of Gynarchy is largely closed off from the public. In other words, I don't think most of the public even knows what it is, what it means, what its ideas are. And so I went out of my way to make sure that I suggested to as many places as possible so that the lexicon had the best chance of catching the attention of as many minds as possible from around the world, so that the books could find as many places as they can. Because I always have that fear. I always have that fear that it's like they're just going to come, take them from American bookstores, take them from American libraries, and that's going to be the end of the Gynarchy social evolution, the evolution of our community. It's going to be the end of our community. That's going to be the end of our people. And then we're just going to be drowned out by all of these bigger groups and bigger movements, because ours hasn't yet caught a national appeal. But if you think it'll never will, I mean, there's people I've seen who've come out and said comments like maybe women do need to be taking over for just a little while. So some people are entertaining it, and more human beings are coming to that conclusion. It's just that this stuff takes time. But I was going to be damned if I sat on my hands. I'm an unemployed man. I've got a lot of time on my hands. So I was going to be damned if I sat on my hands and didn't do something to make sure that if they try to pull this stunt, if they try to attack our community, our members, that at the very least, the lexicon survives in other parts of the world. The ideas will survive in other parts of the world. And also, very importantly, that Viola Voltairine's ideas and concepts and the work that she's done does not go to waste and is able to continue elsewhere if necessary. So there's that. Of course, the third reason that comes to mind is because I believe that this will generate more interest in the community, in the language, in the ideas. Bar none. Easily. It's not an uncommon idea. It's just not thought about enough. There's probably been a time in anybody's life when they thought, maybe women should be in charge. But without a community to talk about it with, without books to explore that idea in more depth, it's just an idea, and it can be just like one of those floaters. It comes and it goes. But now, it's a different ballpark. Now things are different. And obviously, this will be the last reason because I got to wrap this up. it brings purpose to what I do. It's purposeful. I've never talked about my life much, but the fact is, it's unfortunately been letdown after letdown, not only from family members, and by that I mean the male ones, but also because I got sick in my early 20s and I couldn't finish school. I couldn't I couldn't go to my differential equations final. I mean, I couldn't, and I'm still not able to get a job. So I feel like in many respects of my life, I haven't gone the distance. And so this meant a lot to me, being able to go the distance, to go around the world, to say to myself, you did it. You suggested to every nation that had libraries and emails that you could find. You pulled it off. That means something to me. And also, my continuing activism efforts mean something. It means I'm not just here to take up oxygen in the room. I'm not just here to be another person that doesn't do anything important with their life, doesn't get to have any, not only self-worth and self-value, but also just general respect. Just have some respect. Because I feel like in many, when you're in a, especially in the society we live in, when you're a man and you're 33 and you don't get a job, I can't begin to tell you how badly you're getting judged behind your back, what people are saying about you. It doesn't matter what you're doing or not doing. The only thing that matters to them is that you're not working, and that is the ultimate sin. So I feel like what I'm doing has value, and it also helps me cope with what's going on in my life. Every year that I don't get a job is a year that becomes more crushing. But this work allows me to tolerate it to some extent. Because even if I don't get a job, I can say, well, at least I was able to contribute to my community. At least I was able to help them. Even if I can't help myself. Even if my situation seems really fucking hopeless. At least I can do this much. Now, as for closing remarks, I would like to please ask something of the other people in the community. I intend to now do emails, like I'm going to be, not emails, but phone calls. I intend to call the libraries that did not have emails in and outside of the United States. And I'm not going to stop until I've called everybody I possibly can and that I can financially, that's financially affordable to call. So I'll do everything I can on that front. But I can't, if we all start doing more regarding donations and suggestions, we can get much farther. So if it's at all possible, if you could please start suggesting to libraries that they buy these books, I'd appreciate it. If you could start, and I'm sure she would too, if you could do that, that'd be great. If you can donate her books to bookstores, to libraries, I'd also appreciate it. Every little bit counts. And I hope that you understand that it's not doing a little every blue moon. It's doing a little or a lot every day. It all adds up. All you need is discipline, consistency, and hard work that never gives up. If you have these three things, you can accomplish anything. You can do anything. And I think that the more we suggest these books to stores, to bookstores, the more we try to get them in as many places possible, especially academic institutions, the more we spread it around, the more people will start thinking about it. And I think over time, the more our community will grow. Thank you again. If you got through the video, congratulations. It's a long one. I'm sorry. But I hope everyone has a great day. Please take care, everyone, and peace out. Got to do some grocery shopping and get my mother and sister some tea, apparently. That McDonald's tea must be really good. Take care.